The first order of business is going to be the approval of previous minutes. And are there any additions, corrections, or amendments to the minutes by anyone on the board or commission? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Mike seconds.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
One abstention.
Any not voting? One abstention. Next item on the agenda is the plat of Bunker Hill continued.
Thank you. I'm John Larison from Holloway Engineering. Did say Bunker Hill, so we'll take the James Creek replat first. This is actually one of two minor plats that adjoin one another, if you remember. And we are here tonight for a simple change of covenants and restrictions. This plat was approved in every way at a previous plan commission meeting. I think we're going on roughly 3 months ago at this point, but we did have, I think, just probably a poor bit of communication, and the owners mistakenly approved the covenants and didn't realize that they were going to be subject to those same covenants. So we're here tonight. We're better organized than we were a month ago. We apologize for that previous effort. And I would tell you that they have taken your advice and changed only a few of the covenants. And I'll go through the change. If you remember, the James Creek plat is affected. This is lots 1 and 3 are the two lots that the owner is going to retain for their personal use, their home. And they changed covenant number 5, which is land use. And I'll go ahead and read this to you. All lots herein are for residential use only. Lot 2 and 4 are limited to 1 single-family dwelling per lot and shall not be further divided for the purposes of creating an additional building site. Lot 1 and 3 may be divided for the purpose of creating additional building sites, subject to planning and zoning requirements of the controlling jurisdiction. Okay, and number 6 is the dwelling size covenant, and the it's actually the dwelling size covenant for lot 2 and 4. The following covenants shall apply for dwelling specifications. No dwelling shall exceed 2 stories in height. An attached private garage for at least 2 cars included. The ground floor of the dwelling structure, exclusive of porches, basements, garages, shall not be less than 2,000 square feet for a 1-story dwelling, nor less than 1,500 square feet for a dwelling of more than 1 story, with not less than 2,600 square feet total. And the note, these covenants and specifications do not apply for lot 1 and 3 and do not apply for existing buildings on the date of this plat. So if you remember, lot 4 is the lot that has the existing homes and outbuildings on it. So obviously to make a covenant or restriction to restrict or require a certain number of square footage would not make sense for that one. So, okay, and then the building plan review, the only change to that was, if you remember, we had the conversation about the family wanting to build a small outbuilding like a little greenhouse, and then they thought that they might go over the 2-building maximum. So that covenant was changed as well for lots 1 and 3. The no hunting, we felt as though after the meeting that was kind of a non-starter, really. There are guidelines for hunting. For instance, no poaching from the roadside, obviously. It is actually a trespass to kill an animal on your property and go get it and retrieve it off of another's property. We're just going to allow the state rules to stand and just drop that covenant out altogether.
For all 4 lots?
For all 4 lots, yes. The hunting covenant just came out entirely. And that is the extent of the changes for James Creek replat. Again, no change in the lots, no change in the size of lots, no other changes of any kind. And I'll leave it for questions.
Any questions for anyone on the commission?
You know, we did for a moment. We made time the following day for a meeting, and when I felt like we had effectively dealt with that problem, it seemed like another issue came up, and then another issue, and I'm not sure that I'm able to make those parties happy, and I'm just going to leave it at that. But this property is identical in every way to that original survey that we did for the estate of Stella Keys. I've checked it, and I confirm that. I tried to explain drawing scale and the need for brake lines when the scale of a drawing is changed. And I never heard okay, I understand that, thank you. But I'll let that party have their moment to explain their side of it.
There's no objection to the plat as it is.
Any other questions from the commission?
Question. Lot 2, I understand lot 4 is 2 acres and lot 2 is 5 and lot 1. Why is lot 2 having all the restrictions it's the same as lot 4 when it has 5 acres? Why
Because it's being sold and it's not being retained by the owner, and quite frankly, they make the rules. And that really is the only reason.
Any more questions from the commission?
Are you the property owner?
I own lot 4 on Shrew Farms. Yes.
Oh, so you're the one with the house already on it?
No, I don't have a house on my property yet.
Okay. Are the property owners here?
This is one of the property owners. He owns lot 4 in Shrew Farms. The other owners, the Skiles family, is on vacation.
They're in Florida. I have them on the phone, actually.
Well, I just wanted to double check because at the last meeting, they wanted them all removed. They were willing to remove some. And I would just like to hear from them that, not that I don't believe you, not that you would misrepresent the people that are paying you to be here, which is fine. I just would like to know that they're really okay with the compromise. Is that the case?
I did take my direction directly from them.
Okay.
Prior to the meeting, but again, they are, if you can get them on speaker, they are.
I just want to confirm that one from this plat and one from the other plat they're on board with all this.
Did you want to?
You can, well, if you want, you can almost put it up next to that microphone and
Okay.
we can hear what they say.
Okay, Michael, you're in speaker.
Hi, Mike.
Hello.
Tammy Van Hook has a question for you.
Yes, sir.
I just want to confirm that the property owners that are requesting this are 100% completely on board with the adjustments, the concessions, the meet in the middle that was made on this, where you give up some covenants and you still follow some covenants.
Yes, yeah, thank you for clarifying. Currently, there are only two owners. It is myself and my wife, so Mike and Shannon Skiles, and then Mike and Autumn Soika. Together, we own 100% of the parcels that we were speaking about, and we are in full agreement. We've talked extensively about the compromise and would feel very satisfied with making these changes. And but yes, we are in 100% agreement with the request that we made this evening.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions from the planning commission? Open the floor to questions from the audience, comments. Hearing none, I open it up for nominate for
This is a change to the original plat, correct? So the motion would be to accept this change to the original plat.
For acceptance of a replat.
Okay. I will make that motion to accept the replat.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Next item on the agenda is the replat of Lindley Road, continued.
Okay, and this is the east joiner, the previous plat. This is also the minor plat that Mr. Soika has title to Lot 4. And you can see that in addition to the change in the covenants and restrictions, which are exactly the changes that we just spoke about, tailored to Lot 4 only. So in other words, Lot 4 is not subject to the 2 outbuilding maximum. Those dwelling size requirements do not affect it. Also, it can be further subdivided if it meets the local zoning jurisdiction that it's in. Keep in mind, they do have a long-range plan for a mother-in-law quarters. That's the reason that they're concerned about that. And again, the no hunting was removed from the plat. I'll also have you note that the change in ownership was noted for this plat. They were all 4 placed on the dedication as a result. Both the Skiles and the Soikas will be signing the plat, in other words. And I'll take any questions for this one.
Any questions from the planning commission? Any questions from the audience? Anyone in attendance? Seeing no questions, I would entertain a motion to approve this replat as submitted.
Make the motion.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you very much. I could leave these with you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the development plan of Deer Park Drive.
Good evening, I'm Blake Chris with Holloway Engineering. Thank you. Reynolds Farm Equipment. We are presenting for site plan approval for an addition and a lean-to on the existing parts storage facility for Reynolds Farm Equipment located on the west side of 16th. The addition and lean-to will be constructed on an existing gravel lot. And it will be an employee use only building. The addition will include a bathroom that will require water and sewer connections, both of which are available on site. If approved, we will submit through the town for drainage and erosion control approval. I can answer any questions.
Any questions for anyone with the Planning Commission regarding this request? I'm sorry?
What questions did the tech committee have?
It was pretty much cut and dry in tech committee. We covered it, discussed the area and what's being proposed, and there were no real questions or concerns with the tech committee. Any questions from planning? Any questions from the audience? Comments? Concerns? Barring none, I call for a motion to approve this as submitted. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Next item is the zone map change, East Harrison.
Thank you. Okay, thanks again, John Laris, Holloway Engineering. We are here for Mr. Lou Garland. Lou and his wife are in attendance here. They will be available to speak with you if you have any questions with them as well. Lou bought the property located with an address of 211 and a half Harrison Street. This is actually a part of Lot 2 in Block 18 and Samuel Moore's second addition to the town, and it's an example of what we see in that part of town where lots have been divided multiple times, both from north and south, and homes on the alley, east and west, and narrower yards. I've given you an aerial photo to help you see the extent to which each of those lots have been divided previously. When Sam Moore platted Mooresville, these were laid off at 80 and a half feet wide by 157 feet deep. And in the front was the house, and in the back was the barn and the stall, and in between was the toilet and the garden. And obviously, we've come a long ways, and most of the lots look similar to this one. We're here tonight. Lou would like to build a double, two-family residence on this half lot, facing the Broad Alley. I'll point out to you that Broad Alley is appropriately named. Most of the alleys in Mooresville are 20 feet wide. Broad Alley is 40 feet wide. So I think that's why historically you've seen a lot of development on that alley in particular, all the way from from the east side of Mooresville, west all the way out to the creek on the west side of town. The Broad Alley has quite a few homes or doubles, etc., or garages, frankly, that people have turned into homes and living in them. And that is the case with this half lot. When Lou bought this half lot, there was a garage structure on the lot, and Lou was nice enough to make pictures of that structure, and I'll just let you guys take a look at the before conditions before Lou brought this, and then the after condition that we're seeking. He would like to build a double that is just about identical to the one catty corner on the on the southeast corner of Harrison Street and Madison Street. So it would be catty corner to the one that Sam Pugh has already built adjacent to it. And I'll just ask you guys to pass these down, because this is just exactly what we're facing in the town. In this area in particular, I want to be real about this. I don't want to be in showing negativity toward that part of town, but it is badly in need of refurbishing. Many of those structures are falling down, similar to what you see in those pictures. Several of the homes look like that. In all fairness to the neighborhood, there are several people who keep their place extremely well. There always are. But Lou wants to be one of those people. So he tore down that garage that the gentleman was living in, and he would like to build that double, just like the one that Sam Pugh built. And frankly, it's an area that really is in pretty desperate need of somebody coming in building something new. Okay? That's what we're proposing tonight. We will have to also get several variances. Anything less than 10,000 square feet in the town of Mooresville requires a variance to build on. This lot already exists. It's already been divided for a building structure, so its situation is kind of in limbo to begin with. He will also need a rear yard setback in order to put that double structure in. But here is his selling point. He wants to build the double with the garage, so that obviously that will help the parking situation as well. You'll note that the preliminary plot plan that I've put together there shows you that we have room for the prescribed number of parking spaces. We will not need a variance for that. And it's been a while since anybody built a double and didn't need one of those. So because he's wanting to do the doubles with the garage, he is alleviating that need for a variance. And that also causes a little bit of the setback issue as well, because it makes that entire structure a little deeper. So I think that the question tonight is, do you think that a new building, it's tight on the lot? There's no doubt about that, and we're going to need those variances. Do you think it's wise development for the town of Mooresville to allow that in lieu of what used to be there? I'll leave you to questions there, if you have any.
I do. What is that lot zoned?
That lot is currently zoned R1, and if you take a look at that zoning map that I gave you, you'll see that the two half lots next to it are zoned R2. Everything in that block there and east is zoned R1, but this lot is surrounded by other uses, including a lot of industrial, a lot of commercial, because it was very close to the railroad track.
But you're gonna need not only the variances, but you're needing to rezone it to R2.
That's what we're here for tonight. That is what we're asking for.
Are they going to make these brick?
It might be vinyl, I'm not sure.
It might be vinyl.
Well, not sure about the brick, it's so much more money, but, I mean, that's in the plan, but, you know, those prices are so high.
We should be going to go halfway up.
Yeah, part of it, yeah, the front's gonna be brick anyway, but I don't know about the whole building. You know, I was gonna just probably do vinyl around the three sides and brick in the front.
Commission, what do you think?
And you're looking at a structure similar to what's indicated here on number 1, lot 1, correct?
It is.
A duplex
In
structure.
fact, it's the same set of plans.
Do we have any more questions from the planning commission? In my opinion, we need housing. And looking at number 1, it looks like a nice structure. I said the structure on lot number 1 in the photograph appears to be a nice structure, a duplex with parking garages on each. Pardon?
I'm concerned about the vinyl.
Well, I can put, you know, maybe go all the way halfway around with brick or something.
Would you do masonry board or LP board and forego the vinyl? Wouldn't have to do any brick? That's the new thing now.
Yeah,
Or a brick, 3 foot.
yeah, I would do the brick board too, yeah.
I'm still concerned about the two sides being vinyl.
Well, I mean, I could put the brick board on that, you know, as far as that goes, around the sides. Depending on doing the whole front brick
I
anyway.
think it'd be more cost effective for you, you can forego the brick and just do LP board or masonry board all around. Forego the brick, and I think that would make it nicer looking.
Yeah, I could do that too, yeah.
Mike, I don't want to disagree with you, because obviously we want some homes in town that look as nice as we can possibly get them. And I have to admit, I'm not as familiar with this area of town. I live on the outskirts. My concern would be if we put building material restrictions, are we going to create a home that is economically not in the correct neighborhood? I don't want the property owner to have to build something that then becomes a high rent for that area. You know, I want the home to look nice. I want us to help create something that improves our town. I just don't want it I just don't want to restrict him to outprice the neighborhood.
I'm not restricting him to brick.
Okay.
I just don't want to see several doubles going out that are all vinyl. This is going to make the town better and the street better than doing the LP board or hardy plank. It's still going to be cost effective versus brick.
Lou would agree to the brick front, brick ledge all the way around the house with vinyl. And
Or you don't have to have vinyl like you said, I put, the brick
the brick board,
on, yeah,
hardy type plank,
on that instead of
Okay.
vinyl.
okay? He's, he'll do that. I would advise it anyway. I feel like if you're building a double and you've got vinyl on the bottom of the sides and the back, you're gonna end up with lawnmowers into the vinyl, and it's gonna degrade quickly.
So he's not going to do any vinyl.
No, it will be brick on the front, and all other materials will be either brick or hardy brick type plank.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions from the planning commission? Any comments or questions from the audience? Barring none, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Do we have, I have a question. The motion to approve, do we have to put that, the brick and stuff in there?
It will be in the minutes. Or you can make it contingent on the commitment.
Those will be essentially conditions to the motion to approve.
And then it'll go from part one.
You made in the motion.
Yes. Yes, you're going to amend your motion to make it contingent.
I'll amend my motion to approve contingent upon the building materials discussed in tonight's meeting.
The only other clarification I would make is that this is a map change, so it will go to the council. What you're voting on is a recommendation.
We're just a recommendation. That's all we can do here.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Thank you
Any
very
opposed?
much.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the primary plat, State Route 67 for Hill Water.
Hopwood.
Pardon?
Yeah. Sycamore.
Yeah, this one says 67.
This is 67, let's see.
We'll leave that rolled up.
Okay.
This is the Hopwood and Hillwater minor plat. It is actually on Sycamore Lane. We've had an ongoing discussion about this plat for the last couple of weeks. The main concern was the access for it. It is a unique property in that it's being divided off the north end of the,
Thank you, ma'am, thank you, gentlemen.
being divided off the north end of that Hillwater plat. It's 40 plus acres in size. And it doesn't have any road frontage. In fact, we're here tonight because it really is a fairly useless piece of ground in its current condition because it's north of the creek, and for the current user to access it, they literally would have to ford the river or the creek to get to it. So we are cutting the 10.8 acre lot 1 off of the north end of the existing Hillwater Corporation. The plan is, in the entire reason that we're here is because Mr. Hopwood approached Hillwater to buy this property. His family owns the property north and east of it. So that's the reason that they found it attractive. The concern came when the Plan Commission tech review did not see an easement. So I did add a legal easement off of Sycamore Lane eastward across an existing easement that Hillwater has retained, north and then east to their property line, and then north up to lot number 1, and actually the lot that we're here to subdivide. Obviously, that easement will never be used. Mr. Hopwood, who's purchasing this lot, will access this lot from an easement across his grandfather's property, Eugene Perry. Keegan Hopwood's home is a cutout of this parcel, and he'll inherit the remaining properties, and then he will be the adjoiner to this property. So I just wanted to give you the backstory on why we're here to start with. So if you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
It's all pretty much flood zone out there, isn't it?
It is, very much so. It's really a fairly useless piece of ground. He may hunt it, whatever. He may fish, I'm not sure, but it does adjoin him. He saw an opportunity to buy it before anyone else did, and so he took that opportunity.
Based on that, there would be just not cost effective to try to develop this in any way because of the condition of the land and the flood zone classification. Is that a fair assumption?
It's not a developable piece of ground.
Thank you.
Much of Hill Waters is the same way, but it's valuable to them because they're a water company, and that's the only improvement that they have planned is a new well field, I believe.
He plans to leave it just stand natural, stand fallow with nothing.
Absolutely.
Any questions from the planning commission? Any questions from anyone in attendance, sir?
Yeah, just,
You want to come up, please?
I guess just a clarification. Name is Robert Geiger. I live downstream along Wetland Creek from this property. Nothing in this plat changes the zoning of the property, changes any use of the property. Basically, as the gentleman said, the property is unusable for anything but hunting and fishing. I'm assuming, I just want to confirm, that is the belief of everyone here, that there's not a development plan to do something else there.
That's my understanding. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would like to point out to you that property is zoned I-3. Always has been.
Is I-3, which
It
is an
is.
industrial property,
It is I-3.
part of what,
No, it's Industrial 3.
Industrial 3,
Has-
which would
has been
allow,
for years.
okay, but it'd still have to meet any development there would have to meet requirements of floodplain development,
Absolutely.
okay?
We'd have to meet all the state statutes in order to build in a floodplain.
Floodplain,
Yes.
okay.
All the
Anything that would be done to the creek that would impact
Environmental
flow of
controls.
waters,
Non-source pollution, effects of
Okay.
national waters, all of that, so.
okay, I just want to clarify that, because living on White Creek is a challenge because it changes so much and we lose property all the time to the creek.
And
and-
that falls soundly within the waters of the U.S. category for development, so.
Okay, I just wanted to make that clarification. All right, thank you, thank you.
Any more comments, questions? Seeing none, I would ask for a motion to recommend approval to the town council of this plat.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Next item, permits and inspections. Before we move on to that, anyone in the audience have any comments, questions, concerns? Anything? Anyone signed up, Mike?
No.
Okay, well, that's good. Town of Mooresville, we had 11 permits issued between April 14th and May 12th. They did 66 inspections. That's according to Tim Bennett for the town of Mooresville. Any questions or concerns regarding the inspections or issuance of permits? Next item on the agenda is to sign some previously approved RDC documents. That's just a function of
I have
housekeeping.
2 plats in front of me. One is for RDC. It was previously approved. It is my understanding that it was held because it is down near the Shell building. There was a potential that NICEPAC was going to move, so they held off holding until we knew exactly what they were going to do with it. All the plans have been done now, so it is here just for our signature. It's been on hold. I do have the minutes attached if anybody wants to see them, where the plat was previously approved. That's the one for the RDC. The second one that we have is for William Settle. Tim Bennett brought it to our attention. This is long ago. It's been previously approved as well. It's now being developed. He went to get a street address. The street name that was originally given to this has been in use. So the county made him get a new street name. So we're doing one that was previously approved and just held for a while, and one because the street names on the plat have changed since it was approved. So they're basically signatures, and we just wanted them on the record since David and I were not signatures at the time that these were approved.
Formality, this should be okay. Would you agree? And we can do that at the end, close of the meeting. And the GRW contract, you want to speak on that, Tammy?
Do what?
The next item on the agenda?
Oh, yeah, okay. So I sent you guys in your email this week, in your packet, the GRW contract, which is basically the contract for Debbie Lazier to work on our rules and regulations, both for the Plan Commission and the BZA. There is an hourly amount in there. There is a max out-of-pocket, so to say. And there is also a price in there for her to work on the UDO at the same time while we have her expertise available to us with a max out-of-pocket. So the contract is at our feet at the moment. If we decide we do want to move forward with the rules, the regulations, and the updating of the UDO, then the town council would like us to pass this motion, and then they will approve the expenditure at their next town council meeting, which happens to be Tuesday. And Debbie Lazier is ready and waiting. If we have our notes tonight with us, if we can get them to her in the next couple of days, she can go ahead and start working as soon as next week.
So you're making a motion to?
I make a motion that we approve the contract with Debbie Lazier and GRW.
I may clarify, I did talk to Jewel about this, and I think just to be entirely clear, the Plan Commission does not have the power of contract legally. So what the contract will need to go to the town council for approval. I think the town council president expressed a desire to make sure the Plan Commission saw value in these services. So I think it may make more sense to make a motion to recommend to the town council that they consider approval of this contract and this expenditure.
I can amend the motion to recommend to the town council.
I think that's probably cleaner, yeah.
That's fine.
We have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Any opposed? Submission of rules and regulations and notes. That's kind of contingent.
Again, if you guys just have anything on the preliminary rules and regulations that I sent out to you, Debbie will be glad to take our notes, start incorporating them in her rough draft so that they are more specific to our municipality. I'm hoping that if we get those to her, she can be at the next meeting for a more engaging conversation with her, and she'll have had those updates given to us so that we can look at them.
Could you establish a drop dead date for that, for the submission to you to get to her? Because with COVID and everything else, we've got people out tonight because of that. And, you know, and
I would say, for me personally, drop dead date would be Wednesday morning, because Tuesday night, the town council will approve her contract, and that's when she can technically begin working for us.
That would be.
If they approve her. I don't want to jump ahead.
Well, you want to send an email out with a date, with a drop dead date, so.
I'll do that in the morning, send out all the council members and let them know, and the BZA as
if
well.
A fait accompli, they will that be. We have any new or unfinished business? Anyone in the audience, anything for the good of the order? Barring none, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Sir.
On the rules, the regulation stuff, I know you want us to turn them into you, but are we all gonna, can we discuss any of that? Like tonight, like if there's anything that, I know you want us to give them to you, but.
Right, so I think the thought process is to get the most bang for our buck, rather than having Debbie at an initial meeting, that any ideas that you have, any thoughts that you have now, part of the rules and regulations are specific. We have 9 members. So many are employees, so many are from the buffer zone. Those things she will fill in for our municipality, those specifically. But how we want our meetings to run, the thought process from our side, if we go ahead and start giving her those notes, she can incorporate them in her office, send them out to us like she did this last time, be at the next meeting, and that's when we will have our discussion, how she has incorporated the changes so far, what we still need to see changed, and things that we want eliminated altogether or added in. That way, when we are having a full-on face-to-face discussion with her, we are discussing the most current presentation available, if that makes sense.
Would it be hard to share with everyone what's submitted to you by the other
That's
commission
kinda what I
members so
want.
they can take a look
I want us all
at
in
it?
the same loop.
I think we need to have a working meeting.
Okay, well, what I can do to get the ball rolling, if you want, is anything that's submitted to me, when I submit it to her via email, I will include the entire plan commission. So everybody knows what I gave her to start working on.
I just think we all need to be in.
Because some things may duplicate. And yes, it's going to be an ongoing working process. She just wants to give us a good starting point to work from with her.
My only concern with that was that if she gets 9 different sets of rules and regs with notes on them, that's all that time at whatever she charges per hour to go through each and every one of them to make sure if we got together and put it on one and just
If you guys want to hold off and not do anything and not submit anything to her until we see her at the next meeting,
I'd like to have a work session. Is what I'd like to do.
I don't have a problem with the work session if we can come up with a date where folks can attend.
That way we can hand her one copy and this got all the changes on it.
that's how you guys want to proceed, I got no problem with that.
That's not, I mean, we still need to submit it to the council and then, but we still need to, we do need to have a conversation.
Maybe we can come up with a date where everyone can attend and sit down and hash it out.
I'm good most evenings.
Evenings are good for me. Evenings and Mondays.
You okay with the work session, Mike?
I'm the one that suggested it.
Yeah.
Yes,
So-
I think there's no reason to pay her. We need to get our thoughts together, come to a meeting of the minds, and then go to her.
Right. So when do you want to have the work session?
I'm very flexible.
Well, we need to poll everyone, the folks that aren't here that are sick. You know, people are going to have to be healthy before we sit down and do that, so I'd say give it a few days so we can get everyone, come up with a date and a location if we can use one of the meeting rooms here.
Want to has to be a public meeting too.
It does. Yeah, I was going to say that. If you would just be in touch with Jewel about the date, we'll make sure it gets noticed as a public meeting accordingly.
This also needs to be a work session with the BZA.
It's fine. As far as I'm concerned, they can,
And the BZA rules follow somewhat, I think, the planning commission as far as time allotment for time you're giving the presenter and the demonstrators. I think those all should be the same.
there's some real similarities, yeah.
When this air handling unit goes off, I can hear the people that chew in. When that air handling unit's running, it muffles you.
Well, we
It is a
wait,
little loud, isn't it?
we wait till it comes on to talk.
There's no reason to send her a lot of different ideas and her spend time. We need to sort through those and find these. And I don't see any urgency here because it's been since 2019 we had this proposed.
I just think the urgency is we have her availability right now. And, you know, it's going to coincide with working on the UDO. I don't think the UDO updates are going to be quick.
I
and-
submitted a list of UDO all updates that needed to be done last February,
And
and it fell on deaf ears.
so if we're trying to get everything done, that's the only thing that I would say, time constraint. I don't think this is going to take from now until December, but between the rules and the regulations for both and the UDO, hoping to get them all three completed by the end of the year is the only time constraint I see.
I think the BZA will go pretty quickly because it's going to be very similar to what we're doing with planning, so I think everybody getting down, sitting down, and what I've seen, looking at what I've seen that other folks have submitted on, in my thoughts, very similar. So there may be a lot of common ground right there that it may be a very painless process. So we'll shoot for a working meeting then. That work for you, Mike? Okay.
I'll make a motion we adjourn.
You have a second? All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you very much for attending, folks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Hi, Cam.
I'm filling in for Julie this evening. Did we run Beth off?
No. She, actually, she was going to be, here this evening in place of Jewel and was called into something else, but
Yeah,
nope, not entirely. She's just stretched.
we had a few really intense meetings.
I think I heard you.
Oh.
Yep, I got break.
It is John there in black. It's that black one.
I just wanted to make sure.
Jewel gets stuck here until 9, 10 o'clock. Okay, so this is where we're supposed to sign it.
Okay.
But I don't know how they worded it, because Mooresville Plan Commission primary approval by the
Tammy?
secretary. And then
Tammy, could you
plans.
turn the mics off, please?
I did. They're off.
You can go ahead and say it, Mike.
Wait, there.
Okay, Chelsea. Yeah, come on. We don't want to mess this up.
Who is the other signer now? Are you?
the secretary, which is Tammy.
Tammy, there you go.
We thought it was best, since she's here all day long anyway, to have
Yeah,
her.
but I agree, I'm
Okay,
100%
so
on board
it
with that.
says Mooresville Planning
Tammy?
Commission primary approval.
We're still on YouTube.
It's off.
I'm getting a text right now that we are not off.
It's been freezing.
I know.
The YouTube has been freezing and then it continues to
Stream.
stream.
If you can't sleep,
There's
you need to
nothing there
warm.
now.
Yeah, that's, yep.
Okay,
Okay.
so it says Mooresville Planning Commission primary approval by, and then secretary. And then Mooresville Planning Commission secondary approval by. So usually we have the president and the secretary.
Anything signed or?
So it's a little backwards.
I thought he was better when he took a COVID test today and
Who's plat?
showed positive.
Banning did the plat.
I felt he was
Just sign your name.
So
Dave
do we
Sadler,
just want we to do David here, Mark here, and I'll sign as the secretary, and we'll have 3 signatures rather than not having
Yeah,
enough?
yeah, can we
Works
do
for me.
that? That would be great.
So we'll do you as first. I'll be the secretary to witness it, and then we'll have you as the secretary.
Okay, I gotta sign it too.
This one you do.
I charge for my signature.
And then all the way down at the bottom, and then Chelsea will be the happiest
Here's
person
the
in the world.
question, what date should I put?
It has to be today, right, because today is the day that we signed it.
Okay.
And since we signed it in a public meeting,
Yep. Thank you very much, gentlemen, I appreciate it.
Chelsea, I don't mean to get personal, but do you have a good stock of baby formula?
Well, it's not even funny right now. You know,
It's-
there's a shortage
Oh,
of
it's
formula.
beyond a shortage.
I know.
I've got a big box of Infamil that hasn't expired because the grandbaby's not using it anymore.
It's becoming, it's about to become a health emergency. People don't realize what a big,
well, that,
serious deal it is.
Chelsea's got,
And I've got two.
Oh, are there two?
I have twins, yes.
one boy and one girl.
Go, girl.
So, I know.
Ooh.
And I
Okay,
quite
so we'll do this one here.
frankly didn't do
This is
so
the
well
one
with
for
the,
Tim with the
breastfeeding
street
when I
names.
first do,
So
but
there's
I feel like
you.
I got one.
Printed under it.
It'll be what it'll be. We're just, I'm rolling with the punches.
I'll tell you what.
At this point, you're gonna have to.
That's all I'm doing.
Do you have a pediatrician yet?
Yeah.
Have they told you what formula you need to use?
No, because
'Cause
in
you
that,
can put it out to everybody saying it's.
well, and that, my mother-in-law has already been stocking up, but even that, I'm like, we don't, I know what I use for my other two, but the minute you stock up on that, one is gluten
Yeah.
intolerant, one is dairy, you know, and, cause I've had friends that have.
I have
gone
too.
through that.
More and more, it seems like,
I
in fact.
know, and so, I have a drawer full right now.
To explain what happened in that, you know that those names that they're talking about were on a 1965 plat. And since then,
Thank you, we're
they were
talking 19
duplicated. It
days.
wasn't names
Oh,
that
my
we,
goodness.
Yes, I'm
Did you draw this up?
Enjoy, sleep while you
I am
can.
very ready.
This one right here?
Sleep while you can.
That I need to get this. Well, yeah, sleep's not really happening now anyway, at this point.
2022.
We've got one more big in-person meeting
Do you need that? Does that go to you?
in Danville for the county, and I said, if anybody just wants to drop me off at IU Health, let them know that I called.
Yep,
I'll be ready to
and
go.
I can put today's date on it.
Yep.
What business bought the shell building?
I think that's it, right? None of your other plats are ready for signature, right?
No, they all are,
Oh,
actually.
good lord.
Yep.
Well, break them out, let me see them.
Take them out.
These?
Yep. That one and these two. And it, yeah, it's up top.